Shalom. I want to first start off giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakak Wadash, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. These are the men that taught us this truth through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, and peace and blessings onto the elect. Okay, this video is going to be done to add on to the spirit of the fact that when we read in the New Testament about the Gentiles, the strangers, the Greeks or the Grecians, okay, those are all Israelites when it pertains to salvation, okay? Meaning when you read in the scriptures and it's talking about salvation for a Gentile, for a Greek, for a stranger, okay? And even certain scriptures in the Old Testament, okay, that refer to salvation or that light, like for example, Isaiah the 60th chapter, it talks about, let me get it real quick. This is one scripture I know off the top of my head that talks about the light that's going to shine on to the Gentiles. So let me check that. Right, this is Isaiah the 60th chapter, and it reads, I'm going to start at verse 1. It says, "Arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of the Lord Yahweh is risen upon thee. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But the Lord Yahweh shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee." And that glory is really Yahweh Shai, okay? The glory that's gonna shine upon us in this gross, this glory that's gonna come upon us in this gross dark world because of the so-called white man ruling. That's why this place is in gross darkness, okay? Because his wisdom, his philosophy is going forth throughout the earth, okay? But now we have, and we've been having it for years, decades, the truth of these scriptures, okay? And it says in the third verse, which that's the glory, and in the third verse it says this, "And the Gentiles shall come to thy light." So this is dealing with, in order for you to receive salvation, you got to come to the light. It tell you in John the 3rd chapter that Yahweh Shai is the light. Okay, and there's many scriptures on it, but that's one scripture that or one chapter that talks about Yahweh Shai being the light. Okay, so I'll read it again. It says, and the Gentiles shall come to thy light, and the kings to their brightness of thy rising." And this Gentiles right here is talking about Israelites because it's referring to them coming to the light, which is how you receive salvation. You got to come on to Yahweh Shai, who is the light, in order for you to receive salvation. So I just want to hit that scripture real quick. And I got a couple of more scriptures just to, like I said, to add on to the spirit that when it's concerning salvation and it's talking about a Gentile or a stranger or a Greek, those are Israelites. And I got a couple of scriptures that's going to help expound on the spirit that's out there, starting the spirit that's been going out about the topic of the Gentiles, starting with the apostles, the elders, and other brothers that did lessons on this. Okay, this is 1 Corinthians chapter 12, and I'll start at verse 1, but the point is in verse 2. It says, "Now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, I would not have you ignorant. Ye know that ye were Gentiles carried away unto these dumb idols, even as you were led." So we notice it's talking about Israelites. These Gentiles are talking about Israelites because the only way you can not be a Gentile anymore and be an Israelite, you would have to be an Israelite in the first place. You can't be a Gentile and then not be a Gentile anymore if you're an actual Gentile or actual person of another nation. Okay? And then it goes on to explain why the Israelites had become Gentiles. And it says it in the second part of this verse, but I'll read the whole verse. It says, you know that you were Gentiles, but you're not Gentiles anymore because they came onto their nationality and they stopped dealing with the dumb idols. Okay, it says, you know that you were Gentiles carried away onto these dumb idols, meaning cannot speak, dumb as in cannot speak. It says, even as you were led. So we go into the history of Israel, and it's a lot of history at different times that we were following the gods of the other nations. You know, it's countless scriptures on that. If you didn't read this Bible, you know that all through the Bible, okay, especially in the Old Testament, but really all through the Bible, you had Israelites that was, well, the nation of Israel went off serving other gods, the gods, dumb idols of the other nations. Okay, so 1 Corinthians 12:2 is clear that the Gentiles that Paul is speaking to are Israelites. Okay? And what made them Israelites was the dumb idols that they were carried away by. Okay? Now I got another account in the same book, 1 Corinthians, and this definitely helps edify the point that when Paul went to Corinth and also the other places like Ephesus, Galatia, and all the different places where Paul went preaching, okay, the gospel of salvation, which if you in this wacky, if you believe in that wacky ass Christianity, you'll believe that those were people of other nations, non-Israelites. But in fact, they were all Israelites that Paul was going to in them different regions. So this is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 10. And I'm going to start at the first verse. It says, moreover, brethren, I would not that you should be ignorant how that all our fathers, see this, Paul is, first thing, just like we read in 1 Corinthians, the 12th chapter, Paul said, brethren. Romans, the 9th chapter, Paul tells you clearly who his brethren is. Romans 9:1-5. Okay? So first off, is in this scripture, just like in 1 Corinthians 12, he had said he was speaking to the brethren. And he said, I would not have you ye ignorant, or I would not that ye should be ignorant. I don't know if I read it right the first time, Salakia if I didn't. It says how that all our fathers were under the cloud and all passed through the sea and were all baptized unto Moses in the cloud and in the sea. So this is, Paul is going back to the account of the Israelites going through the Red Sea. Okay. So why would Paul be telling this to non-Israelites? Why would he be telling this to people of another nation outside of, that are not Israel, outside of Israelites, that are not Israelites? Why would he be saying that all of their fathers went through the Red Sea? Okay. Why would he be telling them that? Because it don't apply to, it wouldn't apply to him. It would be no need for Paul to go into, and I'm gonna keep reading, go into this history saying that all your fathers went through the Red Sea when it didn't. The other nations did not go through the Red Sea. Okay, the Israelites did. This is showing you. This is talking about Israelites. These are Israelites. So reading on, it says, and were all baptized unto Moses in the cloud and in the sea, and did all eat the same spiritual meat, and did all drink the same spiritual drink, for they drank of that spiritual rock that followed them, and that rock was Yahushua HaMashiach. It says, so he's going into the history, and he's letting them know that really Yahushua was the one that was taking care of them, coming through the Red Sea, and even in the wilderness, as we're about to read. It says, but with many of them, the Most High was not well pleased, for they were overthrown in the wilderness. Now these things were our example, to the intent we should not lust after evil things, as they also lusted, neither be ye idolaters. So that's how you become a Gentile, is by following after the gods of these other nations. Worshiping the gods of these other nations, meaning you're gonna follow their way of life. And this is what was going on with a lot of Israelites. They was following the Greek way of life. Okay, they were speaking Greek, and they were following Greek customs and practices, which made them Gentiles. Okay, reading verse 7 again. It says, neither be ye idolaters, as were some of them, as it is written, the people sat down to eat and drink and rose up to play. Neither let us commit fornication, okay, as some of them committed. In this case, it's talking about spiritual fornication, and it tells us in, let me get the scripture real quick. Wisdom of Solomon. Right, this is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, verse 12. It says, for the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication, and the invention of them, the corruption of life. All right. So back to the scripture, it says, neither let us commit fornication, as some of them committed, and fell in one day 23,000. And reading on, it says, neither let us tempt Yahushua or Mashiach, as some of them also tempted and were destroyed of serpents. Neither murmur ye, as some of them also murmured. All this was going on in the wilderness. So Paul is going through this history with the Church of Corinth. And why would he be going through this history with the Church of Corinth? And he stated that it was their fathers that was doing this back in the passing through the Red Sea and in the wilderness. Because these were Israelites. Obviously, you can't get nothing else out of it. It says, neither murmur ye, as some of them also murmured and were destroyed of the destroyer. It says, now all these things happen unto them for example, that they are written for our admonition, admonition upon whom the ends of the world are come. And that's pretty much it. I just want to bring out hit these scriptures, like I said, to add on to the spirit of concerning salvation when it's talking about Gentiles and Greeks, strangers, okay? That's referring to Israelites. The Israelites, salvation is only for the nation of Israel, okay? St. Matthew 1:21, Acts 5:29 and 30, Romans 9:1-5, okay? So with that, I hope this lesson was edifying and exhorting. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Makakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, the men that taught us this truth through the Spirit, and peace and blessings unto the hopeful elect. Shalom.